But I personally never watched anime. So I was like, oh, let me try and get into it. Never watched Naruto. Never watched I'm actually drawing a blank on even animes. Anime, a blight on this world. I hate it. Well, what's most important about hatred, okay, right here in my heart, is that we hate equally. Because you know what? If someone's gonna be hated, I want everyone to be hated equally. All right. I am all about equality, but in the anime community right now, that's not happening. Anime is from Japan. If you haven't heard of this before, it's from Japan. That's crazy, right? Japan does not have the best history when it comes to race. Mind blowing, I know. And because of that and lots of other factors, the anime community in and of itself does not have a great idea of race. With that being said, black people, probably one of the most visibly different race people when talking about lighter skin races that you could possibly imagine. Actually, it is probably the most visible, not the same race, because I am much darker than 90% of anime characters. All right, this is just true. They don't really look like me that much. It be that way. Because of that, black people who are in the anime community don't necessarily get treated the best. Let me tell you a little story about a weeb. All right, their name is Mia, for as much as I know. Okay, and they posted a TikTok. Oh, well, rip in peace. Well, R.I.P. Peace and peace, Deuterino. Well, I was going to be like, oh, they did post a TikTok, and I was going to show you the TikTok, but they privated the TikTok so we don't get to see it. Anyways, they posted a TikTok about the anime community and how they thought it would be a really good idea to have more black people included in lots of anime. Now, this sparked outrage. Mostly guys of a certain preclusion. Here's some comments that this person got in their DMs from when they posted this picture. If people want diversity in the US, then just become the #1 consumer of animes. Released years ago, these include super popular ones, by the way. And the new watchers of Western media, they're not going to cater to Western media. That's why you don't see black characters in the shows. Anime literally characters, those in Japan, they have white characters. That is just a lot. This is trying to say a lie. It wasn't a problem until the new watchers. It wasn't a problem until you new anime weebs got here. I wouldn't mind black people in anime, but the butt's doing a whole lot of work, isn't it? This is fucking stupid. Japan isn't diverse. 99% of Japanese are East Asian or other groups. Okay, let me drop something on you. Okay, they have a big butt. Anime characters, listen, they're not white. They may look white. In English versions, they may sound white. They are not white. They're supposed to be Japanese people. All right? Even if they don't look like Japanese people, they're supposed to be Japanese people. So if I'm not Asian or Japanese specifically, and you're not Japanese, it's really something wild going on here. You're imprinting your own whiteness onto these characters. And more likely than not, you're kind of supposed to do that because they're trying to cater to that sort of audience, right? But it doesn't mean you can't also be nice to other people as well. What's the point of being mad like Asian gets zero representation in American media, which is much more diverse than Japan? There is an entire there are entire genres of Asian media in America. Asian people have a lot of representation. Now, is it all great? No, absolutely not. And is it enough? I personally don't really think so. But they do get a decent amount of representation. Saying zero is just factually incorrect. And trying to use this as an argument to be against black people in anime is super weird as well. You have no right to speak about, yes, Mr. Mado Persondez here is now, I didn't know this guy was like fucking Shinzo Abe's third cousin himself. Here to talk about who does and does not have the right to speak about Japanese media. Weebs are not okay. Let's take it back. All right, let's bring it all back. All right, we're dragging it all the way back to the bombings. You know the ones, the big ones. After that, we all know there was the occupation of Japan by America. And obviously America brought a lot of things. Hot dogs. They brought cultural change. They brought imperialism. They also brought one thing with them, racism. They brought a whole lot of racism to Japan. Now, Japan obviously has not been the best place when it comes to race in general, but the American idea of racism, especially when it comes pertains to black people in particular, has left a lasting mark. We'll just say the least, right? And we know this as well because lots of Asian people in Asian countries try as hard as possible to look white, right? They lighten their skin a whole lot. They want to look as white as possible. Right now, it's really interesting because in America, you see lots of really white people tan, but in Asia, you see like a darker skinned people, especially in like Japan or Korea, you see darker skinned people like pale themselves up, they go mayo mode as fast as possible. They have not had a great idea of race, and it's bled into the media that they produce. One of the biggest being anime. Here, do you guys remember this commercial? Remember this commercial? Wash the blacks away. Shoo. So yeah, so this one's from China, all right, and China is not Japan. I will say that, but I think the sentiment still is still there. The sort of idea that lots of Asian countries have about race and racism is very bad. Now, I want to take a look at some more examples of anti-blackness in anime, in particular. These are two characters from different anime, all right? One is supposed to be a black person. This is Sister Crone, if you've heard of them before. As you see, literally just looks like a minstrel show. And this one is a character in blackface. So, as you can see, it's very bad. And this is actually a really good article that talks about a lot about the way that black people feel when it comes to when they watch anime and how they feel underrepresented and less than underrepresented, because underrepresentation is a problem. Actively mocked is another problem, right? So being underrepresented is a problem. Not seeing yourself when you consume the media. Black people consume a lot of anime. They absolutely do. All right. If you ever seen Dragon Ball, you ever see Hunter x Hunter, you ever see Naruto, there's a lot of black people who watch that anime, right? And I think that they deserve to be treated with respect. I think all people deserve to be treated with respect, but black people are not. In a lot of these ways and depicted in really horrible ways. Yeah, Mr. Popo, really extremely bad. Literally just like menstrual show memes that they're throwing out. It's extremely sad to see a community that you love doesn't love you back. Imagine you spending your like formative years doing. What do you guys like? Genuinely curious. Like, what do you guys like? Right? What do you like? Like a hobby that you have? Do you build model trains? Do you like collect plants? Do you like collect Funko Pops? You're a gamer, you know? If you have any hobbies, you do skating. Imagine if they were just extremely disrespectful to like your race. Yeah, Halo gamer. Yeah, imagine if they were extremely disrespectful to your race or your gender or your ethnicity, somewhere along those lines, and it was just constant just passive hatred against you in a community that you spent your entire life loving, and then that bled into the community members who don't see you as a part of it. liking anime for lots of people has already been like an outsider thing. Like in cosplay, liking anime, being a part of this community, you're already an outsider, all right? You're already a nerd. You're already a dweeb, okay? You are. Like, let's be honest. You are. You're a geek, all right? We'll use, we were just gonna throw out some words. You're a geek. You're a nerd. Imagine being an outsider in an outsider community already. You're not even apparently you're not even good enough to be accepted in even outsider insular community like that. But that's cool now. It is cool now. Except for these people aren't even allowed to be the cool nerds because they're not accepted in these sorts of communities either. That you are excluded from being a part of it merely because of the color of your skin. You can't be a part of it because you're actively mocked in it. You're not allowed to cosplay characters that don't look like you. Even though other characters, other people can cosplay characters that aren't them either. They're not. Most cosplayers, when you go to Comic-Con, who are cosplaying anime characters, I can promise you this: they're not Japanese. All right, and those characters are supposed to be Japanese. Here, let me show you something real quick, right? Because you guys may recognize this guy. Here's Darkshine from Naruto. So Darkshine from Naruto, this person, I was like watching anime. I was like, man, watching anime like reviews, I was like, man, that's super cool. They have like a black character in there. That's super cool. That's my favorite One Piece character. It's my favorite Hunter x Hunter character too. I thought it was super sick, actually. Why is the head so small? They took the design model after Hassan. I thought it was super cool. But then you realize Darkshine isn't black. This character isn't black. They're supposed to be Japanese. He's actually light skinned. What was it, like a bronzer or something was put on him? Or like his muscles just got darker? And then he just looks like this now. This is what the kid looks like. This is what he looks like. He's supposed to look like. He's not black. So basically, this entire character is just straight blackface. It was pretty crushing, actually, to feel that this character that I was supposed, because Darkshine's actually a pretty cool character when it comes to the One Punch universe. He's pretty up there. He's a pretty powerful character, right? Turned out to just be a complete mockery. Basically, he's just basically doing blackface. I mean, kind of. I mean, if you want to be completely honest, he's basically just doing blackface. It's really unfortunate. Racism in Japan is extremely embedded into their culture. Japan's a very racist place. Listen, I don't want to talk about all Japanese people, but in Japanese culture, they're not like the best. They're not like the best people. I'm not gonna lie to you. When Japan sends its people, they aren't sending the best. I'm joking. But what was it, like 39 or 40% of foreign-born people in Japan? It's really conservative. Yeah, it's really extremely conservative, extremely hateful to people outside of their group. These people, right? Well, like 39 to 40% of renters in Japan have been declined housing because they're not Japanese. Like, you'll literally just walk in and be like, sorry, we don't serve your kind here. And that's just foreign. That's not even just black people. Black people get even hit harder than that because they're not even seen as worthy as just your average foreigner. They're worse than your average foreigner. Here's this person. They were Miss Japan in a beauty contest. There's a mixed race person. This person got like hate, death threats. They got everything that you're not supposed to be representing Japan when you look like this. I think she's half African, if I remember correctly. It's either that or something. I forget what she's mixed with. She's mixed with some like darker skin heritage, if I remember correctly. And they have a word for these sorts of people. They call them hafu. They even have a word for that. Hafu. You're hafu, right? I think it's, canonically it's supposed to be spelled with 2 A's, but you can shorten it. Just hafu, right? You're not real. You're not real Asian, right? There's something wrong. And this person as well was a tennis player. Some people were joking about how these people, they need to bleach their skin. They're not good enough to play for Japan, to represent Japan, because of the color of their skin. It's really unfortunate. And this is something that actually happened. This was supposed to be a PSA on Black Lives Matter in Japan. This is how they depicted these people in Japan. How many times do they have to be told that this is a problem for them to get it? You have to start to think that it's not just a cultural difference, and it's just disregard or disdain for other people not like them. Yeah, what ethno-nationalism does to a motherfucker, right? And it's actually a massive epidemic of people who are mixed race in Japan being called hafu, right? There was a person in Japan, actually, this person right here, who I believe they're half like white American and half Japanese. It got so bad that she was constantly, every single time that she went out, questioned about her race, questioned about her ethnicity, questioned about her Japanese status, questioned about this, questioned about that. Always made to feel lesser as a Japanese person who's always lived her life in Japan. That she had to make little she had to make little business cards for people, for the questions that they would be asking her. Just several questions over and over again. All these questions about this and that, about their race, about who they are, where they come from. Are you really Japanese? They had to make little cutout cards to give to people. It happens so often. It's extremely saddening that this has happened, and it's all coming back around, right? So the anti-blackness in the anime community in general, it's been marinated in this culture for so long that obviously it's going to bleed out into how people feel. Vice put out a little thing not too long ago. Actually got kind of dislike bombed. We can go through that in a second, about the double standards in cosplay when it comes to black people in anime. Here, let me see.
Anime isn't seen as something that's a black thing.
People have this idea of what an anime fan is. If it doesn't fit that stereotype, then they don't want to hear it.
They were like, oh, letting black people watch anime was a mistake.
White people are no more Japanese than I am Japanese, but you don't see that criticism lobbied against white cosplayers.
Because of the lack of representation, it makes you feel, as a black person, even more of an outsider in the outsider community. And so we're like, where do we belong?
Prior to this, it was seen as like this group only, but now it's like, I'm proud that I like it and I can be a part of this community.
From manga readers to anime lovers, the otakus and the cosplayers, every black anime fan has had a moment when they realized that the animation style is more than a cartoon.
Remember, I saw a post a while ago about a black woman cosplaying as an anime character and was bashed for cosplaying as a non-black character. Yeah, dude, all these people, I'm sorry. If you cosplay as a Japanese character when you're white, you deserve to be canceled. Federal prison is where you belong.
Be an anime fan is something special, but to be a black anime fan is something almost magical, because the few times you do see yourself in anime or see anime used in black culture is a moment not many can relate to. For a lot of black fans growing up, acceptance was also something rare outside and within our own communities, and most of us often needed to hide or silence our love for the medium.
Being into anime and games, but also being black at the same time, it was seen as more so a white and Asian thing. So if you were black and into those things, you felt ostracized, and there wasn't such a big community as there is now.
Back in the day as a kid, I was like the only girl watching Dragon Ball Z.
Right.
Now I feel like it's more open to like use anime references. It's just cooler now to be a nerd.
Sailor Moon definitely just like shaped who I am for real. I really identify with, Usagi or Serena, and she's just this kind of like quirky, disorganized, chaotic mess, but she's, a leader at the end of the day, and she's a bad bitch, and that's like who I wanted to be, just someone who is at first afraid, but like finds their, the power in themselves to just take on the world and save the world, and do her things.
Well, these cosplays are fire. Why would someone hate? Well, they hate because they're cosplaying as not black characters, and I think it's so interesting. All right, I still think it's incredibly interesting that these cosplayers don't find the need to do whiteface. You know what I'm saying? Like, none of them, not a single one of them was like, oh yeah, the piece de resistance for this cosplay. I'm gonna paint my entire body white. This is gonna be great. This is gonna be the killer. That's the last piece of the puzzle. No, none of them needed that. You just do the cosplay. You don't have to change your skin color. That's not how that works. I don't know. I just think it's interesting. None of these black cosplayers, they really felt the need. None of them felt the need to do whiteface or anything. It's weird. Or Japanese face or something.
I feel like in high school, I really felt like I didn't really fit in, like in a certain like clique or group. And watching Naruto really helped me with that, because I watched him not fit in with anyone. Like he was just really by himself.
I definitely think that it comes from having certain characteristics and interests stapled to your blackness, to the point where if you stray, even in the slightest, it's automatically invalid just because you're black.
Cosplayers
Dude, this cosplay is sick as heck. Dude, I'm sorry. This cosplay is sick as fuck. The thing is, they're really, really good at cosplay. So they don't want more black characters, but also cosplayers can't cosplay as non-black characters. Yes, it's almost like it's just a racism. Like, oh, maybe if you wanted more black characters, then you guys should consume more anime while not being like just 13% of the population or something. Hotties. True. But I have no opinions on other content creators' physical appearance. All I'm saying is that their cosplay is good. They're like that, but then they try to pigeonhole them into one certain type of characters that they can cosplay. I know this character. I forget their name. I'm pretty sure it's from My Hero, but I know their skin tone's a little darker, if I remember.
are fans who dress up as their favorite anime characters. Representation, freedom of expression, embodying the characters. Sadly, throughout the years, Black cosplayers have been met with an array of racist comments from non-Black fandom online that tell them that they're not allowed to dress as fair-skinned characters, throwing comments towards them. However, while dealing with racist and problematic anime fans in large, many have decided to create safe spaces themselves.
Years ago, like, cosplay was way more.
The main problem is being an MAH fan. See, listen, My Hero was one of the first anime that I ever watched, and I thought it was sick. I thought it was super cool. But then it's either you love My Hero or you think it's a bane on this earth. All right? It's one of the two. It's weird. Most people are like, "Oh yeah, My Hero, that's my favorite anime. That's the world's greatest anime." Or it's actually awful and the world would be better without My Hero existing. I don't know, it's just so weird. I don't know. I just think it's cool. I like it when they punch things. That's me personally.
About looking exactly like the character. Like, if I know I'm cosplaying a character that's like super blonde or like super white or something, I would definitely be very conscious of like everything.
See, and like look at this Sailor Moon cosplay. And they imagine being such a imagine being so down bad. Imagine being such a loser. You're hating on this Sailor Moon cosplay. That's actually super sick. Because they're not like white or what. Are they mad? I'm genuinely curious. Are they just mad that they feel like they'd get like bullied if they cosplayed as Black characters or something? The thing is, I really feel like it's just when you really feel the need to put peanut butter on your face because you need that little extra darkness in there to pull the thing through.
That I'm doing and make sure it's like top quality, because cosplay isn't about like the color of the character or how the character looks. It's literally the character, like the personality and how you look in the photo and just capturing that feeling of the person. So even to this day, there's still some characters I'm just like, like I don't know if I'm ready for those comments because they're gonna come.
Did Lilo and Stitch's older sister.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, and I got a lot of flack for that. And then after that, I got really scared to do anybody really of any other descent.
At one point, I contemplated deleting my Twitter because I posted a Kakaguri cosplay and I spent literal hours, and I was so proud of it. Like 2 minutes after I posted it, N-word this, they were like, "Oh, letting Black people watch anime was a mistake." They called me.
Oh, okay, sorry. I was pausing because she's about to say a word here that I cannot play on Twitch, so we're gonna skip over that very quickly. So we're just gonna skip over that. Just but you know, we all get the point. We all get the point. Tactical. Yeah, she's gonna drop the tactical N-word. We have to skedaddle. We gotta scurry on past that one.
They'll call it like accuracy checks, essentially, where they'll say like, you don't look like this character, but it all really does just boil down to racism. Especially with the vast majority of anime characters who are Japanese. White people are no more Japanese than, I am Japanese, but you don't see that criticism lobbied against, white cosplayers by and large. You just really don't.
And then there's the flip side of a lot of white cosplayers doing things like blackface, and then them saying, "Oh, well, you guys cosplay white characters, so why can't I?" We don't lighten our skin to cosplay these characters. We can't lighten our skin to cosplay these characters.
I hate when they pull that. They'd be like, "Oh, but that person isn't Black. Nezuko isn't Black. she isn't white either. Or when I cosplay Toga with this, they'd be like, her hair isn't like that. I was like, did I ask?
Specifically for Black women, it's like, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. Like, I don't believe that you're interested in this. And it became a level of like trying to prove yourself as opposed to acceptance. Cosplay is like, it's an art form. You know, they are artists, and like artists can reimagine or do things any type of way, but also just because I don't necessarily look exactly like this character doesn't mean this character couldn't exist in a different form.
Yeah, we don't have to watch the entire thing. I actually implore you to go and watch the whole thing on Vice. It's actually it's a really good a documentary about what these people go through. Being an outsider in an already outside community must feel really bad. I feel bad for them, but they're doing the best that they can in the environment that they're given. And so I would just say, all right, leave you with this. Be cognizant of what you say and how you treat people in certain communities, because you don't know what they're going through. All right. I really feel like if we move forward, that we have an amazing opportunity to give people back, to put people back in the driver's seat when it comes to a lot of these positions, and be able to accept them as a part of the community for who they are, right? I feel like lots of Black people, they're going to be at the very end when it comes to the acceptance train, as the idea of, and this is one of the main drivers, the idea of whiteness broadens. As it broadens, I feel like Black people will be the last people to be kind of, lumped in into just being accepted. So just ensure that you're cognizant of that and treat everyone with respect. These cosplayers are doing amazing work out there, and we can all fight against racism together. Let's go, boys. Let's do it. Conclusion: cosplayers are cool. That is not the conclusion. The conclusion are weebs are fucking stupid, and anime is a problem. All right. Letting Black people watch anime was not the mistake. Letting anime was a mistake. Remember that. Like I said, remember how we started this segment? I hate anime and I hate weebs. We hate them equally. I'm a weeb, can confirm. There you go. Now the truth comes out.